When I first saw the announcement about Mosslax, a Snorlax variant in the new Pokemon Pokopia game, I knew I had to make it. And considering my OG mossy mushrooms I've made many times before, my vision for Mosslax in miniature clay form was super clear. But envisioning it and actually making something that stays together are two very different things. So grab a warm drink, settle in, and let's spend some time bringing this sleepy forest giant to life. There's something incredibly therapeutic about conditioning clay for our Mosslax. Even though I know most of this color is going to get covered up by moss, I'm making the base a soft, grassy sage color. I've been thinking a lot about why we're drawn to these special variants of Pokemon. I think it's because they tell a story without saying a word. The official lore is that Mosslax is a Pokemon that became upset after losing a battle and slept too long to forget its defeat. There's something really deep and relatable about that experience for people. I'm taking way more time than I should to shape and smooth out the sculpture, but I really want to get the base, the foundation right. If I don't do that, then once the moss is applied, it can look a little all over the place. But ultimately, I do want him to look less like a clean sculpture and more like a piece of the forest floor that just happened to spring up. The most critical part to get right is the face, since it's the one spot that won't be covered by moss. It's also the most familiar part of the character. And speaking of that iconic look, did you know it was actually inspired by Game Freak designer Koji Nishino? His office nickname was Kabigon, the official Japanese name for Snorlax. Kabi actually means mold, and apparently Koji Nishino was so fond of snacks, he didn't mind if they were a little past their prime. I realized that knowing Snorlax's name essentially means mold makes this mossy version feel like a natural, faded progression for the character. Watching the clay disappear under all that texture is my favorite part. It's a slow process of building up an organic look while staying true to the reference images. He starts to feel less like a project and more like a little creature with a history. And of course, we can't forget the flower on its head. Sometimes you'll see Mosslax with 2 or 3 flowers depending on how many tasks you complete in the game, but I've decided to do just 1 per Mosslax since that's how it appears in most default Pokédex entries. Placing it feels like the final crowning moment, both literally and figuratively. Against the wildness of the moss, something small and hopeful still blooms. He's a reminder that it's okay to slow down, grow some moss, and just be. Thanks for joining me in the studio for this little project. I've been pouring so much energy into creating new art merch for BookCon in New York City and for my spring shop update online in May. And I'm so excited for you to see those, but sometimes taking a moment to make something just because is exactly what you need to stay inspired. And as we channel Mosslax's energy, remembering it's okay to slow down, breathe, and that there's a little bit of hope, I hope that you'll keep creating, support creative spaces. I can't wait to see what you create. Till next time. The announcement about Mosslax. Hello. Hello, would you like to say hi? Everyone, say hi to Linky. Hello. Just saying hi to everyone? Alright, let's see ya.